Sound testing, testing. Okay, most high in Christ. All right, Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Barakatham to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Alataba Hashem, Yahweh Shai to the sisters. We are the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been teaching the truth since 1969 that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And the oppressor, the Europeans, the Caucasians today, are the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, today, right, I talk about, right, anybody who tunes into my class, I talk about separating and, integration and interracial marriages quite a bit, right? Now, Salakia, you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to be covering somewhat of that today, right? But I'm not going to go over the usual topics, right? We go over, what is it? We go over, let me fix this real quick. We go over Samson. Everybody heard of Samson, right? We go over Solomon. That's like the key one that we always go over. But today, I want to go over something a little different, right? I'm going to go over an account in the Bible, right? Because there are a lot of brothers and sisters in the world and in fake Israelite groups who believe that interracial marriage is not a sin. For some odd reason, they think that only worshiping other gods is a sin. No sweat, no sweat. Right, I'm going to be covering a couple of things today, right? So, if I could real quick, before I even begin, the Most High refers to us, right? Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? As a holy people. What does holy mean? Those who have been in the school long enough already know this. For those of y'all who don't know, holy means separate, because the Most High is a separatist. So if the Most High is referring to us as a holy people, a separate people, holy also means sacred, by the way, right? Divine, whatever you want to call it, right? Something that should not be blemished, something that should not be tarnished. If the Most High references us as these type of people, where are we getting the indication that interracial marriage is okay? It's no sweat, right? That's just the demon in you talking, right? It's okay. I'm going to kill the demon for you today. So today we're going to be going over Numbers chapter 31. I'll also be going over Numbers chapter 25, and I will be going over the book of Ezra chapter 9. I'm going to talk about an account in the Bible, right? Because a lot of people are under this impression that it's okay. You can, be with other people. It's all right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Martin Luther King thought the same thing too. He's dead. So with that being said, right, for those of y'all who are tuning into the class, right, I would greatly appreciate it if you please like, share, and subscribe, right? We need to get this truth out here. And with that, I'm going to get started with the prayers. And as usual, right, before we get started with the prayers, brothers and sisters should know that brothers should never have their heads covered when doing prayers or when prophesizing, right? It's in the Bible. Also, sisters, remember to have your heads covered. Now, that being said, we're going to kick this off. With that, my gym, which means to stand, which is just me up here, right? La Yasharala, which means to Israel. There we go.
Shalom on Christ, Aqua. All right. Let's see. Am I good? Are we good? All right, this is the Lord's Prayer. Oh, Salakia. Amadiyat apan Yahakwadam, which means to stand and face the east. Salakia. We'll be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Latanganawa, Lakum, Kol, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Benasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Ma'ayun, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wa'ataparath, Walawalumyum, Aman. Now in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Now this is Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakashah, Latandanawa, Hakak, Hakak, Rapa'ah, Kol, Makalat, Wakol, Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazariah, Hakak, Lahaquayim, Hamathim, Hakak, Aya, Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Bagashun, Ba'ashum, Yahushai, for water, Aman. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. Slagia, I just got to read that one more time. The power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. This is the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba Yahushai, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyim, Ha Saronyim, Ha Kwatazayoyim, Haka Yayoyim, Waha Akwafyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, throw water, Aman. Now in the English, the blessings. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayunya, O, Hahoyim, Ma'ayun, Yaba'ah, Izoya, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Oyatan, Lamawat, Ragalka, O, Yanawam, Shemorka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemorka, Yahweh. It's like Tazorka, Yah, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaaka, Wabawaaka, Maita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Now in English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Shalom on Christ, Adawan. Shalom on Christ. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all, Damaya, Laka, all, Akarash, wa all, Ashakwat, all, Kaya, Hana, Awayabyaka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Aya, Amaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Daitazawa, Tazapawan, oh, it's like it, Aya, Tazapawanyaka, Amorwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakor, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Naitazawa, Laba, Yakawa, Ayaka, Baryak, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa, Yashma'alim, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashaf, Am Yashabya, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imum, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubyin, Banakor, Koyashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kaira, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakatazor, Manai, Kol, Nasayakamwa, Ashor, Amorwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Nawaf, Alahayim, Alahayim, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Falahat, Horyum, Kun, Thardatma, Basa Iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalom, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Baharwa, Adi, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Dayawa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahawa, Labaka, Alyawan, Alkor, Haratazah. Now, Psalms 83. Slide, give me one moment. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Ored, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempests, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth.
All right. Let's get over here. Let me see something real quick. Slide. Just give me one moment. By the way, we're going to be starting in the book of Numbers, chapter 31. Wait for everybody to get there. Just give me 1 second, Salagi. As you already know, we're going to go over the first 7 verses in the Hebrew, right? Bear with me. Salakia. The book of Numbers, chapter 31. Let's see. We're going to start with verse 1. La'a waya daba'a ya'a wa'a o masha'a. Let's see. La'a ma'ad da. Let me see. Naquam Naqua ma'ath baya'a yasha da'o ma'ath hama daya nayam aka'ad fata'an or I'm a one waya da ba'ad masha'a or ka'aim no slagi ha'aim la ma'ad haka latazaya ma'atha la'amathaba'am anashayam
La taza ba'a waya ha ya'a ayo ma da ya'an ma'atha ba'am anasha'am la taza ba'a la taza ba'a waya ha ya'a ayo ma da ya'an. Let's see. I already read that. Slaki. Let's see. Latha'ath na kwa ma'ath yaha ba'a ba ma da yun alon lama ta'a alon.
This thing is too loud. Lock it. That is distracting. Turn that down. What was that?
Salaki. Let's see. Lama ta'a laba'o.
Jeez.
Ma'ai ya'a. Salaki. Na'ath yasha da'o. Thasha lakhaya la taza ba'a wayama I da'an malakwaya yasha da'o alakwa lama ta'a shana ya'am I sha'ad alqua kala yataza ya taza ba'a wayasha la'ach salakia atham salakia masha'a alqua alach salakia lama aya la taza ba'a atham na'ath kwaya na kai. Let's see. Ba'an Allah. Let's see. Alai ya'ad Haba'an la taza ba'a la taza ba'a waba la ya ha quadaash wa kai taza da ya'af ham hatha da na'aya bayadaya. Let me see. Okay. Wayataza bayan ail madayan basha'ad taza ya'a aya ya'a waya af masha'a waya ha da gaya ba'o naba'ad.
Slaki. All right, so that's it for the Hebrew. So we're going to be going to the book of Numbers. Slaki, give me one moment. The book of Numbers, chapter. Let me see one thing real quick. The book of Numbers, chapter 31 in the English. No, Slaki, I didn't know. Okay. Okay, let's try this out real quick. All right. All right. So the book of Numbers, chapter 31. We will start with verse 1, of course. So now it says in verse 30, or it's like in verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterward shalt thou be gathered unto thy people. So just a quick context, right? Shalom on Christ, Adawan. So brief context, right? This is when we were at war with the Midianites, right? Another nation. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves unto the war. We were at war. And let them go against the Midianites and avenge the Lord of Midian. And every tribe 1,000. Throughout all the tribes of Israel shall ye send to war. So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 of every tribe. You gotta think, 12 tribes, right? 1,000 of every tribe. I'm no mathematician, but that's like 12,000, right? Oh, look at that. 12,000 armed for war. So we were at war. We were war ready. You understand? And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe. Them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest. We'll talk about him later on, right? I'll get to him later on. To the war with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded, and they slew all the males. Now, the reason why I'm going over this, right? We were at war with the Midianites. We were at war. I've been getting into a lot of discussions, right? A lot of discussions throughout the week. And there's a lot of people who are under the impression that we can sleep with heathen women. And it's lawful, as long as you don't, partake in their gods, right? Now, I've had to question a lot of people of this because you'll see all throughout the Bible, right? We are referred to as a holy people. For anybody who does not have one, I strongly suggest that you download this app. I'm gonna say every time until everybody gets it. It's called the Blue Letter Bible. It'll be like a little blue icon. It'll be a Bible that's open. Salakia, give me 1 second. Just in time. I just started the class. I'm already done with the prayer.
Yeah, I was looking on my, I was watching you.
Oh, okay.
I was getting dressed and stuff.
What's
And I
on,
tried
please?
to do the prayer, but my internet kept messing up.
Oh, no, that's no sweat. Yeah, we're going over the book of Numbers, chapter 31 right now.
Okay.
All right. Slakia. Okay, Slakia. All right, so the book of Numbers, right? Chapter 31. So we were at war with the Midianites, right? And a lot of people are under the impression that we can have sex with other nations of people. Now, here's the thing. Throughout the Bible, there was interracial marriage, right? Now, the Most High does not speak on it every single time. But the thing is, he refers to us as a holy people, right? What I was talking about earlier. If you do not have this app, I strongly suggest you get this app. The Blue Letter Bible, BLB. It's a blue icon with a Bible open. The reason why I'm saying download this app is because you got to remember the Bible originally was not made in English. And no, it wasn't made in Greek either. Not originally. A lot of people, they think that, right? They think that, oh, the white man made it. No, he didn't. He stole it. All right. And the reason why was to enslave us. You ever heard the book, How to Make a Negro a Christian? The book literally shows how to make Black people, right? Negroes today, they try to call us African in that Bible too. They're already lying. They try to make you more subservient to them, giving into white supremacy. The thing is, though, when you actually understand the Bible, and the only way you're going to understand the Bible is coming into the ISUPK and the Command in General Yohana, because anywhere else, there's always going to be confusion. There's always going to be some type of contradiction because you don't fully understand it. I hear it all the time. Oh, well, if the Most High is against this, then why did he allow this? Oh, well, the Most High said this, but in the New Testament it says this. That's because you don't understand the Bible. It's okay. I'm going to give some clarification. We always talk about Solomon. Always talk about Solomon. I talked about Samson during my last class, right? Going over the whole interracial marriage, and you're not supposed to be sleeping with other nations of women. Also, sisters should be sleeping with other nations of men also. Now, has it happened in the Bible? Yes. There were literally, I can't even say dozens, thousands of brothers who were sleeping with other nations of women. And the Most High had to say something every single time. Matter of fact, not to get too off topic, well, it's not really off topic. There was also a sister, right? You can read in the book of Esther. Esther was a Benjamite from the tribe of Benjamin. When you read in the Bible, there was a precept, right, where she says she's about to go to her husband, right, who was Ahasuerus. He was a Persian king. He was not an Israelite. She even claimed that it was unlawful. She knew, and she was willing to die for her nation, right? The Lord let her live at that time, but she knew that it was unlawful. It is not lawful to sleep with another nation. And I'm going to talk about it today, right? Because a lot of y'all getting this impression that y'all could be with anybody. Yeah, okay. Martin Luther King thought the same thing, and he's dead. So I'm going to show you, right? Now, this is where some people are getting mixed up. This is why I want to give clarification. Now, in verse 8, right? And they slew the kings of Midian. Beside the rest of them, they were slain, namely Evi and Rechem and Zur and Hur and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam, also the son of Beor, they slew with the sword. I don't know if y'all remember who Balaam was, but Balaam was the man that Balak, who was the king of Moab at the time, went to in order to curse Israel. It didn't work. It ended up turning into a blessing. I talked about that last time. Now, moving on. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives. This is where you got to get the context, because if you just read that, you know, brothers are perverted. Salakia, I'm just going to call it what it is. Brothers are very perverted outside of the UPK, right? And they think, oh, well, you know, they took women captive, but they slew all the men, right? So that must mean, oh, they probably kept them as like some sex slaves or something, right? Oh, the Most High must have been okay with that. Yeah, okay. Let's keep reading, though, right? And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, so also the children, and took the spoil of their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods. So this is like, y'all ever heard the term spoils of war? They took the spoils of war, right? And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and of beasts. So it wasn't just the women. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest. I'll get to him later. And unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priests and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth. What does wroth mean? What you got, sis?
Angry.
Angry. Moses was angry. Why was Moses angry? Let's read. With the officers of the hosts, with the captains over thousands and the captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. So Moses was angry with the men who were in the war. Why was Moses angry? Let's keep reading. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? So Moses is questioning, like, did you save all the women alive? What's going on here? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. Trespass. We're going to be covering that a lot, right? Because this is where people get mixed up and they think like, oh, you know, it's okay to sleep with heathen women. Okay, no sweat. I'll go over it, right? Also, Peor. For those of y'all who don't know, Peor was a mountain. Peor was also referenced as a false god as well. Now, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. There was a plague. We'll read about that in a second. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath not known man by lying with him. Now, this is where people are getting tripped up, and fake Israelites will try to use this precept. People who are not in the truth, right? So now, when you read this, matter of fact, I'll keep reading. Verse 18. But all the women children that have not known a man, meaning they were not married, they did not have sex with a man, by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Now, when you don't have full context of the Bible, what does this sound like? Kill all the women who have had a husband, right? She belonged to somebody else. But keep all the ones who have not known a man, meaning she did not have sex with a man, keep that one for yourselves. When you don't have the full context, what does that sound like? If anybody wants to answer, what you got, sis?
Like you can sleep with other nations.
Exactly, sis. This sounds like a sex slave. That's what this sounds like, right? Let's keep going, though. And do ye abide without the camp 7 days, whosoever hath killed any person, and whosoever hath touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So now, right? During this time, they took women who have not known man and they took them for themselves. But remember, verse 16, let's read it again. Matter of fact, verse 15. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Remember, he was wroth, he was angry. That's why he questioned them. And what does it say? Behold, these, meaning this, caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam, who was not an Israelite, to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now, they committed trespass. What was the trespass? Was it just worshiping other gods? Was it having sex with heathen women? Was it both? Was it neither? Let's read it. So now we're going to backtrack. Numbers chapter 25. So now, right, Numbers chapter 25. This is still talking about when we were at war with the Midianites. And Israel abode in Shittim. And the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Talking about there were Israelite brothers who were sleeping with Midianite and Moabite women. Verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. So now you're not just having sex with them. Now you're worshiping their gods. This sounds oddly familiar. Sounds like who? Solomon. Solomon was a great brother, very wise brother. But matter of fact, before I continue, this is something I want to go over, right? This is something I want to go over. A lot of people, right, when they read the Bible, when you read about Aaron, when you read about Moses, when you read about who else? Jacob. When you read about, I'm just naming people off the top of my head, David, right? When you read about Nehemiah, when you read about Eleazar, when you read about all these brothers, all these Israelites in the Bible, right? Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Those, even though these were some great brothers, right, and they've done great things, here's the key part that a lot of people missed. They weren't perfect. I hate to say it, but they weren't perfect. Solomon, one of the wisest brothers in the Bible, other than Christ, of course, he sinned. King David, Dawada, which means beloved, he was after the Lord's own heart. What did he do? He slept with Bathsheba while she was still married. and also got that man killed to cover it up to make it seem like, oh, he only had sex with her after the fact, so it's lawful. And then he got checked by the Most High. Moses, great brother. Aaron, great brother, got us out of Egypt. But they disobeyed too. What did Aaron do? The golden calf, you heard of that, right? The golden calf, graven image, because he was sick and tired of listening to us complain while we were in the wilderness. You got to remember, these were today so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, or indigenous people, right? I know some brothers and sisters don't like being called Native Indians, so I'll call you indigenous. Really, you're the tribe of Gad and Reuben, but you know, that's a whole nother story. My point being is, these were, Salakia for my language, niggas, okay? And we were complaining. You know how we run our mouth. Brothers and sisters in the world, we just chat. That's all we do. We just run our mouth, all right? And you got to think, Aaron was just like, I am so sick and tired of these Negroes. Like, man, what y'all want? And what did he do? He made the golden calf out of the jewelry that we had, out of the earrings, the necklaces, all that stuff. And he made a golden calf. And then we started building altars to it, worshiping a false god, made a graven image of the Most High. That's a big no-no. And then also, what did Moses do? Moses was instructed to speak to the rock so that he can give credit to the Most High, because we were thirsty. But Moses was hard-headed at that moment, and he also was frustrated. He gave into his what? His emotion. And instead of speaking to the rock, he struck the rock. He was not supposed to do that. And the Most High checked him for that too. My whole point being is, there was a law that was given to Israelites in the Bible. But time and time again, you see us obeying the law, but we also disobeyed the law, right? We disobeyed the law, and we had to get checked for it many, many times. Sidebar, before I continue, some people also try to use this too. When Moses, Salakia, Moses had an Ethiopian wife, right? Some people try to use this. Well, he had an Ethiopian wife, and Moses didn't check him then. Remember, the law wasn't given then. Remember that. People like to say, oh, well, what happened with Aaron and Salakia? I forgot her name. Their sister, Salakia. They were mocking him, right? They were mocking him like, oh, you got an Ethiopian wife, right? And what happened? The Most High calls leprosy on them. Remember that. Now people are like, oh, see, right there. You know, the Most High didn't check Moses. No, he checked them for making fun of him for having an Ethiopian wife. Here's the cold part, though. The Most High checked them because they were mocking their brother. That's the reason why. Also, the law wasn't given yet. Remember that. This is why you got to read. You got to get in class. Salakia. I'm not even going to say you should read, because if you read it, you're still not getting the whole context of it. You got to get in class. You got to dissect the Bible. This is why there's so much confusion outside of the UPK. There is no confusion here. We understand. We understand that, okay, you know what? Separate. Obey the law, statutes, and commandments. Don't eat pork, shrimp, and lobster. The law is not done away with. My goodness, I'm sick and tired of hearing that one. That's like, go into Matthew 15 and 17. Literally, Christ literally says, I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. But people will say, well, fulfill means complete. Notice how he said he came not to destroy it. It's not done away with, right? Because if it was done away with, we could eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, right? And we wouldn't get diabetes. We wouldn't get high blood pressure. We wouldn't get gout. We wouldn't get cancer. Parasites, you feel me? If the law was done away with. You know, the Edomites, they get to eat that stuff all the time. Not saying that they might not get diabetes too. It's very rare, but a lot of times they don't get plagued with that stuff. Not as a nation. Not as a nation. Maybe individually, but not as a nation. You got to think bigger than that. Salakia. Let's get back to Numbers chapter 25, right? Now, we already read that we were committing whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Moab will be your so-called Chinese today, right? And in verse 2 it says, and they called the people onto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, worshiping other gods. Now, remember, you can't cherry pick the Bible. That's what people try to do. Sorry, that don't work in here, all right? The Lord listed all these things. We were committing whoredom with the daughters of Israel. We were making sacrifices to their gods, and we were worshiping false gods. One of them, Baal Peor. We all know about Baal, right? For those of y'all, first of all, Baal was like some Canaanite false deity about sex and lust and all this other garbage. Elijah already dealt with that in 1 Kings chapter 18. You can go read it for yourself, right? Now, moving on. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his man that were joined unto Baal Peor. Meaning what? Worshiping other gods. Brothers was getting killed. Brothers was getting killed. You understand? Let's see what. Yep, don't put your brother down or else God check you. You're not supposed to mock your brother. Marry him. Oh, throw out for that. Yeah, you're not supposed to mock your brother. Love your brother. Now, here's the thing, right? This is why you got to be in the school. Even if a brother got a heathen wife, right? It's unlawful, right? But you already had sex with her. Sorry, that's your wife now. If you put away with her and she didn't commit adultery, now that's sin on sin. Can't do that, right? Now, here's the thing. Even let's say, perfect example. Let's say there's a brother that joins the school. This happens, right? He might have an Asian wife or, Arab wife, white wife, whatever. Another nation of a woman as a wife. And he might come into the school. Am I going to mock this brother for having a heathen wife? No. Exactly, sis. I'm not going to mock him. I'm going to let him know, like, hey, you weren't supposed to do that. It was a sin, but now that is your wife, though. And you have to keep her for now. That's still your wife, right? It is what it is. Now, more times than many, about say like 99.9% of the time, when brothers get into the school and they have a woman of another nation as their wife, what usually ends up happening, right? She ends up leaving, usually, right? Because in here, you're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You're not going to celebrate birthdays no more. You're not going to do Christmas and Thanksgiving. You're not going to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobsters. That's a delicacy in most countries, right? You're not going to get tattoos. You're not going to smoke weed. You're not going to do cigarettes. If you really want to serve the Lord, you're going to cut all that off. And she's going to look at you like, what in the hell? But you used to do all this stuff. Well, I don't understand. Like, don't you love me? A lot of times they leave like, man, F this dude. I'm about to go find me somebody else. And here's the thing. Now she committed the divorce. Now, here's the thing. What people got to understand is other nations of people can't sin, right? She committed the divorce. She left you, Ak. She left you, right? You didn't leave her. She wants to leave and go sleep with another man. You are now free of her. That's why the Bible says in Matthew, I believe it's chapter 19, where you can't put away your wife. I'm paraphrasing. You can't put away your wife lest she commit fornication. Now she's an adulteress. That's the only way. Matter of fact, General Muhammad was covering this not that long ago. This is, something for brothers to keep in mind, not just with that, but with sisters as well. Like wifing up a sister. This is why we have the 6-month rule. Be careful about the women you sleep with, because like General Muhammad said, she can abort your baby, and that's still your wife. She'll get kicked out the school, of course, and she'll get shunned and ostracized, but that's still your wife. You just have a disobedient wife now. Your wife can cut your hand off. That's still your wife. I know some brothers like, hell no. Like, look, trust me, I get it. That's why we are so careful about the women that we choose to wife, because we understand it. That's our wife for life. Now, if she does all these horrible things, but she don't cheat on you, she don't let another man stick his rod in her, that's your wife, Ak. So be careful, right? Be very, very careful. Salakia, not to get too off topic. Oh, what you got, sis?
No, I'm just saying that's right.
Oh, Most High in Christ. All right, so, right, we just read about the brothers who were starting to turn away from the Most High, right? They're turning away from the Most High. Remember, we were committing whoredom with Moab. This is one of the reasons that people, this is one of the things that people don't link together. It's not just worshiping other gods. You're sleeping with them. When you sleep with another nation, you start to want to be like them, because now they're a part of you. It's not just for brothers too. It's for sisters. Most sisters in the world, they get with a white man, Arab man, Chinese man, Japanese man. She starts to adopt his culture. Their culture is not your culture. Same for brothers. I see it, Salakia, all the time, right? Brothers, Salakia, sadly, a lot of worldly brothers, they prefer foreign women. And they get with a foreign woman, they look at it as like a trophy, like, yeah, I'm out here. And then you start eating their food, start learning their language, you start taking a part of their customs. You're turning away from the Most High. That's the whole point, right? It's the whole point. I know brothers like, well, what if I don't turn away from the Most High? What if I just choose to sleep with her? You're gonna cut the BS. I want to say something else, but I can't. Cut the BS. You're gonna turn away. I might not be able to see you myself, but that angel who's over you, he's making reports like, yep, he ate pork today. Oh, he said it was beef bacon. Nah, that's pork. Nope, that's up. He celebrated the Chinese New Year, pagan holidays. You're not slick, right? Stop looking for a reason to sleep with heathen women. You're not slick, all right? Let's keep reading though, right? The book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses. So this was an Israelite brother who was sleeping with a Midianitish woman. Let's read what happens. And in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, I talked about him earlier, let's see what Phinehas does. The son of Aaron, the priest, saw it. He rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. That sounds violent. Verse 8, and he went after the man of Israel in the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So he caught them in the tent getting busy and speared them, killed them. Why? Because he was sleeping with a heathen woman. But what does this have to do with anything, right? What does this have to do? So the plague, going back to Numbers chapter 31, verse 16. Remember, we committed trespass against the Lord, and there was a plague on the congregation. Let's read what happens. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. So now, here's what you're not getting. Here's what you're not getting. The reason why there was a plague on the congregation, on Israel, was because not only were we worshiping other gods, we were sleeping with another nation. I brought up earlier, why would the Most High refer to Israel, a holy people, a separate people, a sacred people? Why would he call us that and then be like, but yeah, you can have heathen women. You can go ahead and do that. It's cool. I know I speak of separateness throughout the Bible, but it's cool. I'm cool with it. That's a big contradiction. That contradicts everything that the Most High is about. And I'm going to talk about it more. So now, what you got, sis?
I like to say, like a lot of people who's not in the ISUBK, they don't understand the Bible. That's why someone will be saying that the scriptures contradict themselves, but they just don't understand, what they're saying. The scriptures are really saying.
Exactly, sis. No, but for those of y'all who haven't heard her, what the sister brought out was heavy because, yes, this is the whole reason why. This is why a lot of brothers and sisters don't believe in the Bible. This is exactly why. Because they don't have the understanding. See, the thing is, right, I believe General Muhammad went over this some time ago. It's like some years ago, right? You can't just look at the Bible with a certain mindset. Like if you look at the Bible with a Christian mindset, it's going to contradict everything, right? I bump into all types of weirdos. The old law was done away with. Only the New Testament stands. Only those who believe in Christ are saved. Oh, this is my favorite one. I'm gonna touch on this too. Let's see. There was a precept. I'm going to go over it later. That says neither Jew nor Greek. So people try to use that precept and say, oh, see, it's not just talking about the Jews, it's talking about the Greek too. I got something for you later. Salakia. I'm going to focus on this right now. So now I'm going to read the book of Ezra, chapter 9. This is still talking about when we were at war with the Midianites. Verse 1. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands. Again, integration. Doing according to their abominations. So this is again talking about worshiping their gods, taking a part of their culture, turning away from the Most High, right? Even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For all my black folk out there that swear that you're an Egyptian, no, you're not. No, you're not. You were enslaved by them. They know it too. Now, this is a list of different nations of people, right? I know Slagia, somebody else tried to argue with me earlier this week saying that the Bible doesn't talk about race. Yes, it does. This is the race that they're talking about. Race of people, ethnicity, the ethnicity of other nations. Egyptian is an ethnicity. Now, I want to cover this real quick too. This is another reason why you got to understand the Bible. People make the same mistake all the time. They think that, Slakia, they confuse ethnicity and nation with nationality. What do I mean by that, right? This confuses everybody. I was born in America, right? So by nationality, I would be labeled as American. I'm not American by blood, though. You understand? Oh, I forgot his name. It was a white man. Forgot his name. Salakia. The country was named after him. He was a white man. Now, what does this mean, right? Let's say I wasn't born in America. Let's say I was born in China. Now, if I'm born in the land of China, I am a Chinese resident. I'm a Chinese citizen. By nationality, I would be labeled as Chinese. Do I look Chinese to you? No, I'm not Asian. I'm not a Chinese person by blood, not by lineage. I wouldn't be Chinese by ethnicity, but by nationality. I'm gonna touch on this real quick. A lot of people, right? I'll probably have to give this whole breakdown in a different class. Ruth. Everybody thinks that Ruth was a Moabite. Everybody thinks she, because it labels her as a Moabitess. If anybody has the Blue Letter Bible, right? I strongly urge you to do this. Go into the Blue Letter Bible, type in Moabitess. You'll see it, right? Click on it. Whenever you click on it, right, it'll give you options. Let me know if anybody needs any help, right? It'll give you options. Go to the bottom and click it. And it'll be like interlinear or something like that, right? The reason why I'm saying this is, again, like I said earlier, the Bible originally was not made in English. So some of these words that you see have different meanings. One word can mean 5 different things, right? For example, my name has like 3 different meanings, all right? But I had to go into the Hebrew to find out. One of the meanings of Moabitess, right? One of them is a Moabite, an actual Moabite by blood. But then it says a citizen of Moab, a citizen, meaning you inhabit the land of Moab. Now, if you live in the land of Moab, does that make you a Moabite by blood? No. You're still Israel, but you inhabit the land of Moab. So she was labeled as a Moabitess. Her husband, Boaz, called her kinsman. Boaz was an Israelite. We don't call other nations kinsmen, but he said that to his wife because she was of his nation. People don't get that though. You just see, oh, Moabitess, she's a Moabite. Another clue I can give you, all throughout the Bible, everybody that has a book in the Bible, they have one thing in common. I want to see if anybody can guess it. They all have something in common. Everybody who Scipio Africanus. Yeah, that's yup. Thawada, yup, Halak, Trooper Halak, Americo Vespucci, and yup, Scipio Africanus. Exactly. Thawada. Well, yeah. Everybody who has a book in the Bible, right? They have something in common. What is it? If anybody wants to take a guess. What you got,
Would it
sis?
be, lineage,
What'd you say?
a lineage?
The lineage. What's the lineage?
Like where they're originally,
Mm-hmm.
who they originally are.
Right. Now, what is every person's lineage who has a book in the Bible?
Israelite.
Exactly. Most High in Christ. They're all Israelites. Every single last one of them. You think the Most High is going to make a book about a Moabite? No. Not a real Moabite. A Moabitess who lived in the land of Moab. I know some people, that's still going to go over some people's heads. Salakia. Matter of fact, I got something else for you. I got time today. Salakia. I've been itching to do this. Another one. Let's see. Eliam, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to go to it. Let's go to, what is this? 2 Samuel's. See if I can get it real quick. I'm going to drop Ezra just for a little bit, right? I know I'm going over a lot, but Slag, if I'm going too fast, just let me know. Let's go to 2 Samuel's, right? 2 Samuel's, let's go to, let's see, I believe it was chapter 11. Verse 3. Yep, that's what it is. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 3. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Now, somebody tried to tell me that Eliam was a Canaanite, right? They try to say that Bathsheba was a Canaanite. Really? So I'm telling you, I'm telling you, get the Blue Letter Bible. I'm telling you. Because it gives you so much information that your Christian pastor will not tell you, right? Now, when you type in Eliam, right, the father of Bathsheba, now you'll hear about a couple things, right? He dwelled in the city of, I think it's Gilo or Gilo. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But Gilo or Gilo, I'll say Gilo, Salakia. Gilo was one of the 11 cities in Jerusalem, right? It was a city. Now, when you type in Eliam, some things will pop up. It'll label him as a Gilonite. Now, does that mean that he's a Gilonite by blood? No, it's just a city in Jerusalem. He dwelled within the land, it's like the city of Gilo. So he was labeled as a Gilonite. That was his nationality. Same thing as Ruth. She was labeled as a Moabitess because she lived in the land of Moab. They were Israelites, though, because when you look up Eliam, it'll tell you that he was an Israelite, but he lived in Gilo. Matter of fact, I got something else for you, right? Let's go Numbers chapter 13, verse 6. Numbers, let me see. Where you at? Salakia. Numbers chapter 13. Where are you at? Numbers chapter 13, verse. Where are we at? 6. Okay. The book of Numbers chapter 13, verse 6. Of the tribe of Judah, we all know that Judah was one of the tribes of Israel. Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because somebody tried to say that Caleb was a Canaanite. Here's why they said that. Now, we just read that he was of the house of Judah, Israelite, right? Again, you can go in the Blue Letter Bible, type in Caleb, it says Israelite. This is why they tried to say that he was a Canaanite. Now, let's see. Oh, matter of fact, right here, right, to give more context. Verse 1 of the book of Numbers chapter 13. And the Lord spake. Hey, shalom, everybody tuning in TikTok. Appreciate y'all. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Now, Before we took over Canaan and made it into Israel, it was Canaan, Canaanite territory, right? Now, here's the thing. This is why some people don't believe that Caleb was an Israelite, because it said that he was the son of who? The son of Jephunneh. So now, Salakia, I know I'm covering a lot. I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit. Now we're going to go to Genesis, all the way to the beginning. For those of y'all who don't know, Genesis means in the beginning, right? So we'll go to Genesis chapter 15, right? Where is it? Where is it? I know you went here. All right. So now, let's see. Okay. Verse 19. And it says, the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites, right? Why am I going over this? Why am I talking about territories in the land of Canaan? What does this have to do with anything? Because when you look in the Blue Letter Bible again and you look up Jephunneh, right? Again, the name, it'll say that he's an Israelite. However, it will also say that he is labeled as a Kenizzite. So which one is it? Is he an Israelite or is he a Kenizzite? You can't be Canaan and Judah at the same time. It doesn't work like that. No, he lived in the land of Canaan. Kenizzite was not his bloodline, but his nationality, because he dwelled in that land. He wasn't actually a Kenizzite. You can't be both. It's either you're this or you're that. Another one to give context, you look up Job. Job was an Israelite. However, people will tell you that Job was an Edomite. Why? This is what they don't tell you. Job dwelled in the land of Uz. No, I'm not talking about Ivan Ooze. This ain't Power Rangers. No, he dwelled in that land. What was that? Edomite territory. That's where he lived. But he was not an Edomite, not by blood, but by nationality. Just like how we live in America. Like Americo Vespucci. Americo Vespucci was a white man. So he dubbed this land America. America. I am an American by nationality. I'm not white. I'm not Caucasian. I'm not a European. I'm not Spaniard. My family is black. Okay, my father's side of the family, Judah. My mother's side, from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, shoot, I actually got to do more research on that because I found out there were natives there before. So my mother might not even be Benjamin. She might be Gad or Ephraim for all I know. But it don't matter because she's still Israel. You understand? I am not an American by blood. If I was born in China, I am not Chinese by blood. It's just the nationality. Don't confuse the two. Don't confuse the two, right? Salakia. I just wanted to get all that out of the way. So now we're going to get back on topic, right? We're going to go back to the book of Ezra. We're going to talk about, let me see, the book of Ezra, chapter 9. The reason why I'm going over this class is because a lot of brothers and sisters still feel like, honestly, scratch that. I'm going to keep it real with you. It's mostly brothers. Salakia, I'm gonna keep it real. There might have been one or two sisters that are okay with interracial marriage. It's a lot of you brothers. Let me tell you something. I'm not here to condone in your feelings. Salakia. I'm not. Those of y'all who don't know what Salakia means, excuse me or sorry. Salakia, I don't care about your feelings. That might sound kind of rude, and some people might think that is disrespectful. No, I'm saying that because I love you. I love you. We love you here in the school. All right? Because here's the thing. Smoking weed feels good. Smoking cigarettes feel good. Being an alcoholic, you know, alcohol is an antidepressant, right? Or it's like a depressant, right? Now, is drinking alcohol a sin? No. Being a drunkard, or in modern times, an alcoholic, is. Why do you do that? To sedate yourself, because you're depressed and you're going through things. So you take that bottle and you drink it until you damn near overdose. You got to get your stomach pumped out. Trust me, I've seen it. You do that because it numbs the pain and it makes you feel good. I'm going to tell you to stop being an alcoholic. I'm going to tell you to put the cigarettes down. I'm going to tell you that you need to stop celebrating pagan holidays like birthdays. For those of y'all who don't know, birthdays are only mentioned twice in the Bible, and people die because of it. And heathens, other nations, one of them, an Egyptian, Pharaoh. Pharaoh killed people on that birthday that he celebrated. That was Egyptians. You're an Israelite, okay? Do not partake in heathen customs. Jeremiah chapter 10, 1 through 4. You can read it for yourself, okay? My point being is, I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is, the Most High does not want Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and indigenous people mingling their seed, or for the sisters, spreading your legs for a heathen man. They don't want that. But I'm clearly just making it up, right? It's open. It's like that's a lot. That's a lot. But my point being is, right, I'm gonna tell you the truth, right? Now, I challenged somebody on this earlier, right, in the book of Ezra, chapter 9, to cut all that integration crap out. Now, we read in verse 1, right, going on about, taking a part of heathen customs and all these different things, right? Now, I challenged somebody, right, to talk about this. Shalom on Christ. I challenged somebody to talk about these things. They kept avoiding verse 2. A lot of brothers, not just that brother, a lot of brothers did not want to go over verse 2. This is why. The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed, holy, separate, sacred seed, have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass. Key word. We talked about trespass a few times. It came up in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 16, the trespass that we committed against the Lord. It popped up again in the book of Numbers, chapter 25. The trespass, it wasn't just worshiping other gods. No, it was also talking about mixing our seed with other nations of people, interracial sex. That was a trespass because we just read it. I know some people, they're still going to try to say, no, that's not what it says. Okay, let me read it for you again. The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass. This was a trespass against the Most High. Now, let's keep going, right? I'm gonna, let's see, we're gonna speed it up a little bit. Verse 10. And now, O our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments. If this wasn't a commandment, it wouldn't be put there. If interracial marriage was not a sin, it would not be put there. You would never see anything in the Bible that's saying that something's wrong with mingling with another nation of a woman or a man. It would never be mentioned, but it's mentioned multiple times. You understand? Why? Because it needs to be mentioned. Because remember, the Lord called us a stiff-necked people. We're hard-headed. What's that saying? A hard head makes for a soft bottom. We've heard that before, right? You don't want to listen. Hard-headed. It's not the first time we've been like this. We were like this even in the Bible. Remember, when we were being brought up out of Egypt, what were we doing? We were murmuring. We were murmuring. We were whispering amongst one another, saying, "Well, I don't want to be taken out of Egypt. I'm tired. I'm hungry. My feet hurt. Man, I'd rather just go back to Egypt, man. Like, I ain't trying to do all this." That's how ungrateful we were. And the Most High turned his back on us a couple of times because of that. And when you sin, you can read all about it in Deuteronomy chapter 8. Those curses are for real. Tell me I'm wrong. Those curses are for real because you choose to disobey. you disobey. And the more you disobey, well, you have no protection. The Most High not with you. And this is how you know that we are godly people too. What happens every single time we are in any type of turmoil? When we're sad, when we're angry, when we lost a loved one, when we lost our job, got into a car crash, what is one thing we always do? We pray. We pray. Trust me. Before I came into the school, I keep it real with you. I was atheist. So I thought, anyway. And guess what happened when I was going through stuff? I prayed. Guess I wasn't as atheist as I thought I was. I prayed. That's how, because somewhere deep down in your spirit, you know you have a connection with the Most High. You can try and deny it all you want. It's okay. We all know because we've all been there, right? Now going back, right? Verse 10 in the book of Ezra, chapter 9. And now, our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments. Verse 11, which thou hast commanded by thy servants, the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land with the filthiness of the people of the lands, right? With their abominations, their culture, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now, therefore, this is cold right here. Now, therefore, give not your daughters. Let me read it one more time for the people in the back who did not hear me. The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 12. Now, therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons. That sounds oddly familiar. It sounds almost like the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7. Matter of fact, let's read it. I've been waiting to go over this all week. Let's see. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations, plural, before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations gathered and mightier than thou. This is what people will try to do too. For those of y'all who don't know, right? Everything that I just named right there in Deuteronomy chapter 7, those were all coming from the same lineage, Hamites, all coming from the same lineage. So people will try to tell you, oh, well, you just can't sleep with Hamites. That's all. It just said there. But we just read everywhere else that even Moabites, even Edomites, you can read that in 1 Kings chapter 11. It says it in the very beginning, right? Other nations of people. These are other nations of people, right? But people will try to tell you, well, right, let's see, truth. We are studying this also. Most High in Christ. So, well, you got to understand the spirit behind this. The Lord is telling you when you go into a land to possess it, right? At this time, we weren't at war with the Midianites. Later, we were, though. And what happened? We went into the land to what? Possess it. They were Midianites. It didn't say Canaanites. It said Moabites and Midianites. But there's still other nations of people, right? You're not supposed to go in onto them or take them as, your wives, so on and so forth, right? Now, the reason why I brought up this precept, right? Let's go down. Oh, no. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to skip that. Verse 2. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Verse 3. Neither shalt thou take marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. That sounds like the book of Ezra chapter 9, verse 11. That's crazy. Matter of fact, 10 all the way to 12, right? Nor his daughter shall give thou to take unto thy son, meaning you're not going to take their daughters. You will not engage in interracial marriage. Now, did we listen? No, we didn't listen. We kept disobeying the Most High. And because of that, plagues. Oh, here's another one. Confusion. Confusion. Why? Because we have a lot of brothers and sisters today who feel like, I'm not black enough. I'm not Latino enough. I'm not Mexican enough. I'm not indigenous enough. Because my foremothers on my mother's side, well, they were white women. They were Asian women. I'm mixed. I'm mulatto. No. As long as your daddy is an Israelite, a so-called black, Hispanic, or indigenous man, so-called, right? Because those were never your names. We weren't always called black. I don't even like saying Hispanic sometimes because Slovakia, those names were given by Spaniards, all right, Spaniard colonizers, right? Spain, Portugal. Portugal went down to what is now dubbed as Brazil. That's why they speak Portuguese. Tell me I'm wrong, right? My whole point being is these were names that were given to us by our oppressors, right? And there's a lot of confusion. You have a lot of brothers and sisters who feel like they're not accepted. They're not accepted because they might not look dark enough, or they're too light, or vice versa. It causes confusion. This is why, well, one of the reasons why the Most High didn't want us mingling with other nations, because now, today, there are a lot of brothers and sisters who don't believe that they're an Israelite. They hear Israelite, that ain't me. Nah, I'm indigenous. I'm Cherokee Indian. You got a lot of brothers. Look, I'm a so-called black man, right? Black people love to say, I'm Egyptian. I'm a Nubian princess. I'm African. What's another one? I'm Bantu. Things like that. When actually you're not. Now, again, this is another thing I got into. Are there Israelites in Africa? I'm pretty sure there are, but they're not African by blood. They might live. Remember, we were split in four corners of the earth. We're everywhere. We're not just in North America. Okay, but black people exclusive to North America aren't the only Judites. We're all over the place, right? We're in Mexico. And not just Judah, by the way. That's another thing I want to touch on. It's not always about Judah. It's not always Judah. There are 11 other tribes: Issachar, Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, Ephraim, from my so-called Puerto Rican and Taino brothers and sisters out there. All right. There's other tribes. It's not just Judah. Okay. My point being is confusion. I bump into it all the time. People try to tell me, well, how do you know you're Judah? If there was so much mixing going on, you might be an Edomite yourself. Trust me. If I was an Edomite, I would not be able to break down the Bible like this. The Lord would have kicked me out the school a long time ago. Because trust me, we've had people who tried to pose as an Israelite, found out that they're an Edomite. They're not here anymore. They're gone. All right. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Now, let's see. French, I don't know what that is. Anyway.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, sis.
Even with that, the Bible said the spirit bears witness with the spirit.
Exactly. Most High in Christ, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's see. I'm gonna go. Okay, let's go back to the book of Ezra, chapter 9, right? Now we're gonna go back to verse 12 because I didn't get to finish that, right? The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 12. Let's continue reading. Now, therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons. Again, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever. Meaning, don't try to integrate with them. Stop. All right. That ye may be strong and eat the good of the land and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. Here's the problem. We've done so much mixing, so much interracial marriages, right? Brothers sleeping with all different nations of women. Sisters cutting off their lineage by sleeping with another nation of a man. Because remember, the man is the one that passes on the seed. I know there's a lot of sisters like that. No, it's the woman. Sis, look, we know you got the hard part. We know. I will not discredit you. But that's what the Lord designed you for, though. The woman is the one that, carries the baby for approximately 9 months and pushes the baby out. All right. Most High in Christ to y'all, sisters, because I ain't doing that. Slocky. All right. My point being is, though, the seed comes from the man, though. So when a sister gets with a man from another nation, that's still your baby. The baby might look more like you than the daddy, right? That's still your baby, but sorry, that's not your lineage, because the man is the one that passes on the lineage. Even in America today, what usually happens, right? What usually happens when a man and a woman get married? Most of the time, the woman is the one that takes on the name of the father, who's usually the head of the household, the father. Who do the kids take the name after? The father, traditionally, most of the time, right? It's not always true, but most of the time, that's usually what happens. It's the spirit behind it. The father's name is the one that's over the house. But we've done so much mixing. Now we got a problem. We got a lot of brothers and sisters who don't know that they're Israelites. And when you try to tell them, you're crazy. What are you talking about? The Bible was made by the white man. Yeah, okay. Why would the white man make a book about his own destruction? Because for those of y'all who don't know, in the book of Ezra, Slakia, not Ezra, Esdras, Slakia, in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 9. Matter of fact, I'll read it for you. Second, that's crazy. I got it right here. Most High in Christ. So this is in the Apocrypha, right? For those of y'all who thinks, there's some books that's missing out of the Bible. Well, let me see. This is it. These are the missing books. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. And it says, for Esau is the end of the world. Esau would be your so-called Caucasians today. They rule the world, right? They rule everything. Everything is in their name. They run everything. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Meaning what? There's going to come a time where Europeans, whatever you want to call them, right? They're not going to be ruling anymore. I know some people feel like, oh, you're crazy. Who runs the world? And no, I'm not just talking about America. No, don't think small. I'm talking about as a nation of people. I know some people feel like, well, Russians and Ukrainians and they're all different. Look, mayonnaise is still mayonnaise. Sorry. I'm just here to tell you that. Okay, they're all Caucasian as far as lineage. They might dwell in another land or whatever, but they are of the same people. My point being is they're the superpowers. They run everything. People want to talk about, well, black on black crime. Yeah, black on black crime is a horrible thing. Our brothers and sisters are destroyed out in the world, right? Black on black crime will destroy a neighborhood, will destroy a family. White on white crime causes war. Tell me I'm wrong. We living in it. Ukraine and Russia. They're blowing up each other. Look at Ukraine. It's a war zone out there. It looks crazy. And look where they're going to for refuge. But that's crazy. When the Haitians were looking for refuge, they got whipped on horsebacks. Slavery ended a long time ago. Yeah, all right. Those white men channeled their spirit. They felt real good. This is the good old days right here. Come on, man. Wasting my time. Now, the whole point of going over this, right? Be with your own nation of people. Just so we're clear, I know this is going to trigger some people right here. There is nothing interracial about black people getting with indigenous people or so-called Latino or Latinas, right? I know y'all think y'all different. I know. I've heard it 1,000 times before. No, we're not like you. You come from Africa. No, we were enslaved. That's what it was. Okay. Remember, it's not always about skin tone. This is why I'm going over this. It's about your lineage. Now, when you look at me, right? Most people, what do I get labeled as today? African American. Who called me African? Who called me the white man? They did, right? You were enslaved when you were in the land of Africa. You were sold on slave ships. And because I have an afro and I have darker skin, I resemble somewhat of an African. Of course, you're going to think I'm an African. And of course, any black person is going to think that they're African because it makes sense, right? There's so much history they left out. There's so many different books out there where it specifically states that Negroes served in Egypt. I'm a Negro, according to everybody else, who served in Egypt. Israelites. I could talk all day. I'm gonna have to wrap it up in a little bit because it's on. What time is it? I got 15 minutes till 12, so I got a little time. My point being is, your oppressor teaches your history. You don't think they're not going to cut certain things out? You know, I found this out not that long ago. You know, there's a sign, I forgot exactly where it is, that literally shows and labels black people as Israelites. It's a historical landmark. Google it. Google it. I actually just bought the book not that long ago. I'm gonna read it, right? Your oppressor knows who you are. They know who you are. They don't want you to know who you are. They call you Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican just means rich port. Who was in there? The Spaniards, Christopher Columbus, right? Oppressors. Before it was Puerto Rican, what was it? Taino. Before it was Taino, what was it? Boricuan, right? Who called you Native American? Who called you that? Indigenous people didn't always go by that. They didn't always go by Native Indian. The oppressor labeled them as that. You know, there's so many books where they studied Native indigenous people, the Aztecs, the Mayans. I'm probably going to butcher the name. Salaki if I butcher the name. The Yucatan, okay? Native indigenous so-called Mexicans today, they weren't always called Mexican. Do you know that your oppressor has studied you to see if you were an Israelite? They said that the Yucatan were of Jewish descent. There's a book on it. They studied you. They studied you. Okay? But they won't tell you that. All these names that you go by today, your oppressor gave you that. They call you black because, like, we go by black today because that's what your oppressor gave you. That's my whole point, right? Your oppressor destroyed your heritage. You think you're doing something, right? And for the record, I'm not trying to destroy anybody's heritage as far as, like, you know, what you hold dear to you. Like, I know I bumped into some so-called Taino brothers and sisters, right? And, you know, some people felt offended because they felt like I was trying to wipe out your history. I'm not trying to wipe out your history. Okay. Like I said, my mother's side of the family, they're actually descendants of natives. Okay. I'm Judah. I'm still Judah, but I do have indigenous blood running through my veins. Okay. Believe it or not. I'm the same as you. What you got, sis?
I want to say, like you're saying, you know, the other brothers, the Taínos or what,
Mhm.
got, you know, get offended because they think, you know, we try to tell them that we're the same,
Mhm.
that we're trying to wipe out their history. You
Right.
know, and you know, the white man, he's always done is put us against one another
Exactly.
because they don't know the white man already wiped out their history years,
Mhm.
thousands of years ago,
Right.
hundreds of years ago. You know.
Right. What the sister said was so heavy. Like, that's one thing that the white man does. He pits us against each other.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Going back to what you were talking about. Some people know this, but most people don't know that Arawak Indians, Tainos, and black people were enslaved together. It wasn't just black people on those slave ships. No, they took indigenous people, so-called natives, on those slave ships. Also, I know some people like to go over this too. Well, did you know that Native Indians own black people as slaves? Yeah, you know black people own black people as slaves too. Do you want to know why? Everybody likes to talk about the problem, but they never get to the cause. Who taught them that? You look. We all have smartphones. You don't even got to buy a book for this. Google it. The reason why indigenous people owned black slaves, and it wasn't just black slaves, they owned each other as slaves too at one point, and black people owned black people as slaves, was because of their oppressor. We mirrored what they did because we saw them as superior. So we thought, oh, okay, well, we're going to do what they do to get good with your oppressor. Y'all ever heard of a house nigga or a head house nigga? Y'all seen Django.
Yeah.
Y'all seen Django. What, Samuel L. Jackson? Look, I think he played that part a little too well. Yes, that's just my personal opinion. Great movie, but I think he played that part a little too well. But it was a perfect representation of how so-called Negroes loved their oppressor. And what does the book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 24 say? You can't have two masters, or either you hate the one and love the other. You can't play both fields. You can't play both. You can't. You can't. Christ said, if you lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out my mouth. You either hot or cold. You understand? You can't love your people if you love your oppressor. You have to choose. You have to. Because, I mean, look at our history. There are coon black people today, not just back then, today, who will die for America. I mean, I'm tired of seeing pray for Ukraine.
Yeah.
What Ukraine do for you? What have Ukrainians done for black people? Wasn't it a black woman who was a Ukrainian by nationality? Stay with me. Who tried to get on a train not that long ago? And what happened to her? But pray for Ukraine. Yeah, okay. Well, have Ukrainians ever said, you know what, I'm really sorry about what America has done to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous people. We should go over there and help them. No. But here we are. We gotta love everybody. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago. It was a brother. I forgot his name. It was a brother. He wants to go fight for Ukraine. An older brother. I'm like, for what? What you got, sis?
And even, how they bringing them over through the border, and the Hispanics are standing there, can't eat. They won't even let them, it ain't one Ukrainian who stopped and said, no, I don't feel right. Let them go. They've been here,
Like,
they've been trying to get over here for years. I'll just stay. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying, sis.
They're not gonna do that.
That's what I'm saying. And before I end the class, right, there's one more thing I wanted to go over. So this was a topic that popped up right earlier with some discussions that I've had with some people throughout the week, right? So in the Bible, it says, whoever put in captivity shall be put into captivity, right? I know some people don't want to hear that, right? Yes, the people who enslaved you, Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous man and woman, there's going to come a time where we are going to enslave them. I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings. Like, oh, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's wrong. You're preaching hate. Look, I don't care about people's feelings. I'm reading what the Bible says. Now, here's the thing, though. Let me go a little bit more into context so people understand. What was it? I think it was Isaiah. Let me see. Isaiah chapter 14. Let me see. I want to read something. 14 and, was it 12? Let's see. I think it was Isaiah. So, no, was it 2? No, it was 2. Slakia. Okay. So I'm going to read something for everybody, right? The book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2, right? And the people, matter of fact, no, let's go to verse 1 so everybody gets the full context. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now, I know some people think, well, that's talking about integration. Read the rest. Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them in their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Right? They're going to serve, like, and when I say serve, right, you got to think, like, you serve your oppressor today. No, I don't. Yes, you do. When you work a 9 to 5 at Starbucks, who owns Starbucks? I can't think of the name right now, but I'm pretty sure it's a white man or woman. All right. When you work in the banks, the Jewish own those banks, not the real Jews, not the real Israelites, fake Jews, right? The Jewish. That's why they go by Jewish, right? A lot of these companies, telephone companies, Sprint, Verizon, what's another one? T-Mobile, AT&T, right? All these companies, I'm just naming off the top of my head, right? You work a 9 to 5. You work for somebody. You pay taxes, right? Who you pay taxes to. All right. My point is, we are serving somebody right now. You might not necessarily be in chains, but you serve somebody. There's going to be a time where that's going to be flipped. And people are going to be working, other nations of people are going to be working a 9 to 5 for your companies. The thing is that, believe it or not, the Bible actually teaches you how to be dignified. And we come from a royal lineage. And I know a lot of our brothers and sisters are destroyed today. I know. But we actually did practice being a sacred and a noble people, having class, having manners before we were destroyed. So when this time period does come, we're not going to do them the way they did us. All right. We'll have class. Okay. We'll be reasonable. Okay. We'll have mercy. The world is going to be very happy when Black, Indigenous, and Hispanic people are in charge. Okay. Like, you see, like, these farms and them chickens that are all, mashed up together and stuff, and you wondering why. I found out not that long ago, what was it? Beef, like a lot of meats and stuff like that, steak. right? You know, they like terrorize the animal before they kill it. The reason why they do that is because it causes the muscles to tense up. Don't believe me? You can do research for yourself. It causes the muscles to tense up, and what it does is it locks the blood in. It locks the blood in. The reason why they do that because the meat will weigh more, so they can sell it for a higher price because meat goes by weight. So now you're buying, let's say, a 12-ounce steak or whatever, when really it's probably like 10. All right. They terrorize the animal. They do all types of, I don't even want to get into that. They do all types of crazy things to them animals. I'll leave that to the imagination. My point being is, in our kingdom to come, we're not going to terrorize those animals. We're not going to do that. Okay. Those chickens are going to be glad to be eaten by us. Okay. They'll be like, thank you. At least I wasn't tortured. At least I lived a full life and I'm chilling. You can cut my head off. I know some people are like, you crazy. Look, I don't give a damn. The one stereotype you could put on me is I love chicken. I don't care. Sloggy. But just to end this right, I'll continue with verse 2. Right. And the people shall take them and bring them in their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. The reason why I'm going over this precept is because there's some weirdos out there, right? When the oppressors, right, had us in captivity, they were doing like they did all types of things, right? They took Black and indigenous women, right, hung them on trees while they were pregnant. This is not a game. They took them while they were pregnant, hung them, and gutted the baby out. You gotta be sick-minded to do that stuff. They sexually assaulted men, women, children. I'm talking 5-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 2-year-olds, babies. They do, I can't even say they did. They do these things. Okay? You know how much sex trafficking goes on in America? You know how many Black and Latino women they go for? You know how many indigenous women disappear off of the reservations? Nobody talks about it though. Nobody is pray for Ukraine. No, I'm going to pray for the sisters who are getting abducted in America today. And not just in America, that's selfish. I'm talking about all over the world because it happens in Southern and Central America, Brazil, Argentina. It happens in Colombia. It happens in Puerto Rico. It happens all over. Wherever Israel is, we're getting oppressed somewhere. I just want that to be known. But my point being is, again, we are not going to do what they did to us. There will be no having sex with little girls. That's disgusting. That's nasty. The reason why I'm going over that, somebody tried to argue with me. They deleted their comments. Good. I tried to say something, but they deleted it before I could comment on it. My whole point being is, we're not going to be doing that. Other people will teach you, oh yeah, we're going to do what they did to us. We're going to ravish their women. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we are not. That there will be no rape going on. That's no. Just no. I'm here to tell everybody no. I don't give a damn what you believe in. No. Cut that mess out. Will they serve under us? Yes, but we're not. Ain't gonna be no sex slave concubines going on up in here. It doesn't say concubine. It says servant, captive. That's it. Don't be having sex with children, man. That's disgusting. All right. So now with that, right, I just want to say Thawada, which for anybody that's tuning in on TikTok, also Thawada, which means thank you in the Hebrew, right? For everybody that tuned in, for brothers and sisters that are on YouTube and Facebook, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe, right? All right, so now I'm going to be doing the prayers. Let me see. I'll be doing the prayers. Oh, and before I'm done, anybody got any questions online before I'm done? You got any questions, Sissy Tawab?
No, I just like to say for all the coons, all the coons out there about that scripture you just
wrote, sis.
You know, what really gonna boil there, make them really boil inside when they know, you know, that the white man is gonna be our slave, and then after that he's gonna be out of here for good. You know, his time is gonna be up. You know,
Most High in Christ. Yep.
We still have other nations, the ones that want to bow down to the Most High.
Yep.
you know, and even some, you know, coon Negroes or whatever, you know, they can be out of here too.
Yeah, no. For those of y'all who didn't hear her, what the sis said is correct. It's very correct. There's going to be a time where there ain't going to be no more Edomites. I know it. Some people are like, "Oh, you're crazy and you're racist." And well, let me tell you something right now. I am the wrong person to talk to about this type of stuff. I love my people. I'm gonna say it for everybody to understand. I love Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous people.
That's right.
I
That's
love
right.
we ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge loves our people. If everybody who thinks, oh well, Hispanics aren't, look, we have Mexican priests, we have Puerto Rican priests, we have Salvadorian priests, we have Native Indigenous priests. Okay, I know of two in the school right now. They're not here at the moment, and guess what? Those are my brothers. And just to give a big shout out to my Mexican brothers and sisters who are the tribe of Issachar in the Bible. Do you want to know how I was able to talk about this whole subject? The book of Numbers, chapter 31, 25, and Ezra chapter 9. Do you want to know who taught me that? It was a Mexican man.
That's right.
A Mexican man. Shout outs to a priest and officer of 5,000 Lahad, who was an Issacharite brother in the school.
Right.
All right. That's just what I just wanted to say that real quick. And to all my Hispanic and Indigenous brothers and sisters. Now, with that being said, if nobody has any questions, all right, so I'll just get off of TikTok for now. Excuse me, this is my first time being on here, so I really actually don't know how to get off this. So, the water to everybody that tuned in, a priest and officer 50 Itazum, the water, and Shalom. All right. Live is ended. Okay. All right. So Amadim, just me up here. La Yasharala, which means to Israel. Okay. Madiam Akwanya Hakwadam, which means to rise and face the east or stand and face the east. Let's see, for time's sake, let's see, Lord's Prayer. And I'll just get straight into Psalms after. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Atanganawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, it's like it. Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakat, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, Lawalumium, Aman. Now in the English,
Our Father,
which
art in heaven,
art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily
our
bread,
daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Slag it for time's sake.
Let's go straight to Psalms 121. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Ashai,
Ayanya,
Ayanyam,
All,
All,
Haharyam,
Ahoyam,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'a,
Izoya,
Azoya,
Izoya,
Azoya,
Ma'aim,
Mayan,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shemayim,
Shemaiah,
Wa'aratazah,
Rafidah,
All,
All,
Yathun,
Latan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Gorga,
All,
All,
Yanawam,
Adawan,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'a,
Yanawam,
Lawan,
Wala'ah,
Wala'a,
Yayashun,
Yashan,
Shalamar,
Shalamar,
Yasharala,
Yasharala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamorka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazorka,
Ayad,
Yaya,
Yamyamka,
Yamka,
Yawamam,
Yalamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Lakaka,
Wairak,
Wa'ak,
Belialah,
La,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Makar,
Makal,
Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashmar,
Athnapashka,
Ashmar,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashmar,
Taza'athka,
Taza'ak,
Wabawa'athka,
Wa'atzka,
Ma'itha,
Wa'ata, Mata,
Wa'ai,
I,
Iwalam.
Now
Now this is Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills,
From whence cometh my help?
from which cometh my help.
My help cometh from the Lord,
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He will
moved.
not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not
will
slumber.
not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade
The Lord is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
All right. Oops. All right. Psalms 83.
In the Hebrew, Alahayim,
Alahayim,
all,
all,
Damaya,
Damaya,
Laka,
Laka,
all,
all,
Dakarash,
Kalawa,
Wa'al,
La'al,
Fashaquat,
Tashaqua,
all,
all,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Hana,
Hakana,
it's like Awayabika,
Yabaka,
Yahama,
Ma,
Yawan,
Lawan,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al,
Al,
Amaka,
Amaka,
Ya'ayamwa,
Ya'anwa,
Sawada,
Shala,
Wa'ita,
Wata,
Yaitazawa,
Katawa,
Al,
Al,
Tazapawanyaka,
Tasawa,
Amorwa,
Amara,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakidam,
Kakana,
Magoya,
Magoya,
Wala'a,
Wa'a,
Yazakar,
Azakar,
Shum,
Sham,
Yasharala,
Yasharal,
Iwada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Naitazawa,
Atazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Slaki, Yakadwa,
Lakawa,
Ayaka,
Abaka,
Baryath,
Maria,
Yakarathwa,
Yakawahua,
it's Yakarathwa, Ahoya,
Lahoya,
Adawam,
Adawan,
Wayamalak,
Wahua,
Salaki. Do that again. Wayamawan,
Wawan,
Wayamalak,
Wahua,
Palashath,
Palusha,
Am Yeshabia,
Abushabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gum,
Gum,
Ashawar,
Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawash,
Imam,
Ayama,
Hiawa,
Ayawa,
Zarawai,
Sarawai,
Labunya,
Labunyan,
Lawat,
Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
Asha,
Lahum,
Laham,
Kamudyam,
Kamanyan,
Kasaya,
Kasala,
Sara'ah,
Sal,
Kayabyam,
Kanyam,
Banakal,
Benakar,
Kwayashwan,
Kwan Washwan,
Nashad Madwa,
Nashabawan,
Bayan,
Mayan,
Dara,
Danwa,
Wakaza Abba,
Akaza Abla,
Wakaza Bak,
Akaza Pak,
Wakata Zor,
Akaza Zor,
Manai,
Manai,
Kal,
Paul,
Nasa Yakamar.
Lakan,
It's like you, it's okay, sis. Nasa Yakamar.
Lakamar,
It's all good. Ashar,
Ashore,
Amarwa,
Amora,
Nayarasha. It's Naya,
Naya,
Rasha,
Vasha,
Lanawa,
Nanawa,
Af,
Al,
Nawaf,
Nawa,
Alahayim,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
Ayahaya,
Shaya Thumwa,
Ayatamwa,
Kagogala,
Kagorgla,
Kakwash,
Quash,
Lapunya,
Lapunyan,
Rawaka'a,
Robert, Ka'a,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Taba'ira,
Tabaira,
Ya'ira,
Yaira,
Wa,
Wa,
Kalahaba,
Kalababa,
Falahat,
Kalaha,
Harayum, Kun, Tharadama,
Kabdakwa,
Basa'iraka,
Alka,
Wabasa,
Babasa,
Wapathka,
Apatka,
Thabahalam,
Tabaham,
Mala'ah,
Ma'a,
Panyahum,
Panyam,
Kuala
Kwalawan,
Waya,
Waya,
Bakwashwa,
Bakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Wabashwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Bahawa,
Bawawa,
Adya'ai,
Ai,
Waya,
Waya,
Kaparwa,
Kapara,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abawa,
Waya,
Waiwa,
Daiwa,
Dawa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Atha,
Atha,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labaka,
Babaka,
Aliwan,
Adawa,
Alcohol,
Alka,
Haratza.
Iwataka.
Now, Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Keep not thy silent, O God.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O God.
O God.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make atonement,
thy enemies make a turmoil,
and they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation,
from being a nation,
that the name of Israel
that the name of Israel
may be no more in
may
remembrance.
be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together
For they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee,
The tabernacles of Edom
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gebal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the
the
Philistines,
Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also was joined with them.
Ashur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them
do unto them
as unto the
as
Midianites,
unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jaban,
at the brook of Kishon,
at the brook of Kishon,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a red,
and like Zaid.
and like Zee.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all their princes,
as Zabah,
as Sabah,
and as Zalmunna,
and as Zamona,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
O my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a will,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy
with
tempest,
thy tempest,
make them afraid
and make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Lord,
O Lord,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled
and troubled
forever.
forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High
art the Most High
over all the earth.
of all the earth.
Just make sure that's good. Slack it. Oh, okay. Slack, we can back up. Slack it. Men of Israel, just give one courtesy salute to the teacher. All right. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam, Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahshabrakatan. Yahweh Shem Yahshabrakatan. Men of Israel, saw and face the sister. Give one courtesy salute to the sister. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam, Barak, Shema Salakia. Shalom Yahweh Shema Alatah by Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Shalom, the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
On sign Christ. Yahshua Class dismissed.